Hello, my name's Kelsey Larson. I'm in my final semester at Ball State and plan to graduate this December. I will be discussing the BACB test content outline for Domain D, Experimental Design, with a focus on D.3, Identify Threats to Internal Validity. With analyzing the research done on threats to internal validity, a majority of the research covers this topic with the use of multiple baseline designs and concurrent designs. The original article by Slocum et al. In 2022 defines two different multiple baseline designs and the common threats to internal validity with an outline on how to control these threats. So concurrent multiple baseline designs are designs in which the tiers are synchronized in real time. So for example, session 1 would take place in all tiers before session 2. This differs from non-concurrent multiple baseline designs in which the tiers are not synchronized in real time and the session numbers do not correspond to the same periods of real time across tiers. This information is useful because there are threats to internal validity which may be addressed differently when comparing baseline to treatment phases. So some threats to internal validity covered in my research included maturation, testing, and session experience, and history effects. So maturation is defined as extraneous variables such as physical growth, psychological changes, typical interactions with social and physical environments, academic instruction, and behavior management procedures that may cause behavior changes over time. Maturation effects can be sudden and they can also be gradual. So for example, when a toddler begins to walk, this would be a sudden maturation effect. When you think of maturation effects, you should think of the changes expected to accumulate as a function of elapsed time in the absence of the participation in research. Another threat is testing or session experience, and this is defined as features of experimental sessions other than the independent variable that may cause a behavior change. When you think of testing effects, you should think of observers present, procedures, exposure to testing stimuli, or removal from a typical setting. And these variables can be controlled by attention to the number of sessions our participant experiences. History is another threat, which includes specific events that occur at a particular time and they cause a change in behavior. When you think of history effects, you should think of things like divorce, change in living situation, changes in school or work schedules, injuries, setting changes, or staffing changes. History or coincidental events may be controlled by giving attention to the specific dates on which these events occur. So why are the threats to internal validity important to experimental control? Each of the threats describes the lag between the phase changes that need to be controlled in order to achieve experimental control with a multiple baseline design. It is important to acknowledge the threats to internal validity when observing literature and doing research on specified treatments. So students should be able to pinpoint the threats to internal validity when completing visual analysis, observing instability in data, changes between phases, and data path predictions. Some key takeaways include that multiple baseline designs are the predominant experimental design in applied behavior analytic research. Concurrent multiple baseline designs and non-concurrent designs may be subject to threats to internal validity despite across or within tier comparisons. Maturation effects include unidentified biological environmental events and interactions. Testing effects include any features of a session other than the independent variable. And history includes other experimental events that coincide with the introduction of the independent variable.